Loki was doing her best to convince Kisaragi to skip school and explore a dungeon instead, arguing it would be a much better use of time. But Kisaragi insisted he had to attend school first because it was necessary for dungeon exploration. He mentioned there was valuable dungeon-related information available at school and hoped to find clues about who might have cursed Mayu. Loki, intrigued by something happening at the academy, responded, "Do as you see fit." Kisaragi then asked if Loki was leaving, to which she replied she would be enjoying the show. By the way, if you haven't watched the previous episodes yet, please be sure to catch up on those first. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Kisaragi proceeded to Tenjutsu Academy. As he entered his classroom, everyone seemed shocked. They whispered amongst themselves, speculating that they had thought Kisaragi was dead. There was a sense that they had written him off as a failure who would keep trying to become an adventurer, he suspected to do. Hashigane greeted him and wished him good morning, thanking him again for their practice session the day before. Kisaragi reciprocated, expressing his gratitude for the invaluable practice. Hashigane then suggested tackling the intermediate rank dungeon, Abode of the Dead, for their next adventure. Reflecting on the previous night's events, she admitted she still didn't know the extent of Kisaragi's abilities and was determined to uncover his secrets. However, Kisaragi had already sensed her suspicions. He regretted being too conspicuous, showcasing his skills so openly in front of her. Meanwhile, others in the classroom were gossiping about why Hashigane was being so friendly with Kisaragi, whom they considered a failure. They thought she was crazy for considering entering a dungeon with him. Hashigane then asked Kisaragi if he was free later that day to embark on their dungeon expedition right after school. Just then, Tadu entered the classroom. He looked at Kisaragi and told him he had some nerve showing up here. Hashigane retorted that she believed that was her line. He was the one with the nerve to confront them. They both glared angrily at each other as if they were ready to kill. Kisaragi hoped it wouldn't escalate into another problem. Tadu then challenged Kisaragi to a fight, determined to expose his alleged lies to everyone. Tadu questioned him. "You cleared a dungeon solo, didn't you? Don't tell me you're going to run away." Hashigane announced that Tsukasa accepted the challenge. Kisaragi thought to himself that he didn't want to attract any more attention than he already had. It was already too much of a hassle. Meanwhile, Loki was thoroughly enjoying the spectacle, using it to alleviate her boredom. She suggested Kisaragi tell Tadu to bring along his buddies too, especially since they had interfered in the last dungeon. It was time to assert who was truly in charge. Kisaragi considered that dealing with another interference like before would indeed be annoying. Perhaps Loki was right. It might be best to settle things here and now. Confidently, Kisaragi declared that he would face Tadu in the fight. "You can bring your two friends while we're at it. I'll take you all on," he asserted. "I don't want to hear any excuses when you lose. After all." Tadu was visibly riled up by Kisaragi's words, feeling insulted by the confident challenge from someone he deemed incompetent. Loki interjected, "But there's no fun in just a plain old fight. How about we add a wager?" Kisaragi was intrigued by the idea of a wager. He proposed, "If I win, you'll let Hashigane-sen leave the guild and ensure the JDMO approves the registration of her new guild." Tadu, addressing Kisaragi, asked, "As the JDMO's director, your father has the authority to do that, right?" Kisaragi clarified, "More than this, it's about supporting Hashigane-san's dream further." Hashigane felt grateful for his support. Tadu turned red with anger and exclaimed, "You arrogant little shit, I'll take you down." The scene then shifted to the Tenjutsu Academy training ground, where a 1 versus 3 battle was about to unfold. Kisaragi issued a warning, stating that whoever fell or surrendered first would be the loser. He asked Tadu if that condition was acceptable. Tadu agreed confidently, stating, "Since you're gonna lose either way." Tadu made his move, launching a fireball attack. Simultaneously, the second guy charged toward Kisaragi and delivered a heavy, intense punch aimed at the ground. Kisaragi deftly dodged the incoming attacks from Tadu and his companions at the Tenjutsu Academy training ground. As he maneuvered to avoid a fireball and a heavy punch, a third adversary approached from behind, launching a thunderous attack aimed at Kisaragi's back. Reacting swiftly, Kisaragi raised his sword to block the incoming thunderbolt. Amidst the chaos, Tadu returned, vowing to incinerate Kisaragi and delivering another fiery strike with his fist. The collision caused a massive explosion of flames, engulfing the area. Hashigane, watching in fear, called out to Kisaragi anxiously. To-Do sneered, taunting Kisaragi, "Once a failure, always a failure. You'll regret this in the afterlife." However, emerging from the flames like a hero, Kisaragi defiantly declared, "Who said I was dead?" His resilience and determination shone through, marking a turning point in the intense confrontation at the training ground. As Kisaragi's skill, Copycat, activated, he successfully replicated the Herculean strength and thunderbolt abilities of his opponents. With newfound power at his disposal, Kisaragi addressed Loki, who was yawning dismissively. "I think those weak flames can beat you. How laughable," Loki remarked. Kisaragi retorted to Loki, "I would have been in trouble if I weren't at a higher level." Loki ignored his comment and encouraged him. "Don't lose now, Tsukasa." Taking charge of the battle, Kisaragi dashed with supersonic speed toward Yoshimura, one of his adversaries. He unleashed a high-intensity kick while airborne, causing massive destruction that made the ground tremble. The others, frightened by the display of power, shouted in shock at Yoshimura's condition. Kisaragi then redirected his focus towards To-Do, challenging him to bring the confrontation to an end. And thus, this chapter draws to a close. Stay tuned to discover what unfolds next in the story. In the meantime, why not explore my other videos? Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more captivating stories. Your support means the world to me.